Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all doing well today. My name is Belinda Wasser, and I'm coming to you from the VA Connection. So welcome. We're streaming on Facebook and on YouTube and on Periscope. So if you're coming to us from YouTube, please click the subscribe button so you'll be notified every time we go live. And I want to start out by telling you about what's happening for us on Facebook. In case you're coming from those other two channels, I have a community. It has almost 13,000. I got to check the number today. We're getting close. 13,000 members. And it's a free online classroom for people who are virtual assistants to learn about being a VA, to really connect with each other. We have people all over the planet. 47 countries are represented, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So if you're not there, just type the VA Connection in the search bar at the top of Facebook and come on over. EJ is joining us. Hello, EJ. Thanks for watching. EJ is in the VIP club and a big lover of dolphins. You can see from her picture. So awesome. So let's start out, because there are so many new people joining the group every week. I'm going to start out by just telling you a little bit about me, and we'll jump into the questions. So please put your questions in the chat, in the comments as I'm talking. This is really all about you today, really all about you. So I'm here to answer your questions. I don't have an agenda, but I want to know, what's on your mind. And also jump in and say hi. Tell me where you are. I'd love to know who's on the live stream with me today. All right, so let's jump in. Okay. So as many of you know, and also grab your tea. I don't have my VA Connection teacup today, but I do have, I don't know if you can see, this thing is like backwards. It says, "My girls make me breakfast." And I've got some nice hot black tea in here to get me going today. Greg gave me this for my birthday. He loves giving me mugs and t-shirts. It's quite cute. All right. So dolphin research and marine biologists are my ultimate ideal client. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, so everybody keep that in mind. If you have anybody who's a dolphin researcher or a marine biologist, shoot them over to EJ. She's into it, and I can understand why. When Emily was little, she had a book on dolphins, and we read it 7,000 or 8,000 times. And I just remember learning about echolocation and how they communicate. And I can see why you're fascinated with them. They're such gentle creatures, and smart. So anyway, all right. So this is Emily when she was 9, when I first started my business, and it was not the most ideal moment in time. I was a newly single mom. I didn't have a job. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, and I was in a big financial crisis. I wasn't able to pay my mortgage for over a year, and I had credit card debt piled up everywhere. It was really a mess, and it was very uncomfortable. For any of you who've had a situation like that, you're just scrambling to make the minimum payments, to figure it out all day long. And, I even stopped answering my phone because I was just tired of all of the calls coming in asking me, when is the next payment going to come? When is the, when are you going to be able to pay this? Because I really didn't have an answer for them. And it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So, looking into my past, I was a secretary back when they called them secretaries. I was an admin, and I really liked that work, and I was pretty good at it. And I found it satisfying. I like helping people, and I thought, well, why don't I go back and do that kind of work? So I started temping a little bit. But I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make the kind of money I needed to make doing temp work. So I started just telling everybody that I knew that I wanted to do administrative work. And I was at the school bus stop, and I was telling one of the dads, hold on, you guys, one second. I was telling one of the dads, I don't know if you can hear it, but my bird is screaming, and it's very distracting. So I'm going to ask Greg to bring me the bird, and he'll sit with us because Greg is leaving in a few minutes. to play paddle. Okay. All right. So he'll bring him in and he'll sit on my lap and he'll stop yelling. Okay. So anyway, back to the story. So I started telling people at the school, I started at the school bus stop. I said, hey, if you know anybody, I'm going to be doing this work. I'm really excited about it. And one of the dads just started a new company and I had no idea. And he said, I'll totally hire you. This is great. And it worked out for so many reasons. He wanted me to do things that I already knew how to do. He wanted me to pay the bills for his company. He wanted me to set QuickBooks up. I knew how to do that. Here comes the bird. Here we go. Okay, good boy. Whoops, I guess not. Hold on, he's flying around. He'll settle down in a second. All right, you can see him flying. And then we'll get back to this. Okay, here he is. All right, thank you. Here's the bird right here. He is good. When he is good, he is very good. And when he's not, he definitely is not. So hopefully he'll settle down. Okay, settle down. You're okay. It's okay. Okay, sit on my lap. You're okay. All right, sorry about that, but I can't concentrate when he's screaming. Okay, so I told this dad at the school bus stop, that I was wanted to do this kind of work, told him, my experience, and he said, I'll hire you. And I was thrilled because like I was saying, he wanted me to do things that I already knew how to do, pay the bills, install software, very sort of commonsensical things. So I did that. And then, some time passed and I went to a wedding. A friend was getting married and I met someone there who became my second client. He asked me what I was up to. I told him, and then I connected with him on LinkedIn, which is always a good idea. And I don't know, it was like a couple of weeks. He emailed me and said, hey, I have this event I'm running in person. Can you help me? And I said, you bet. So I set up, I think it was Eventbrite. I didn't know it, but that stuff is pretty straightforward to set up. I set up Eventbrite and went to the event, sold his books in the back of the room, distributed the handouts, sent a follow-up email, things like that. So I started to see how, skills that I already had, I could start to make a living. And from there, after the event, my client said, let's turn this into webinars. This could be really good. And neither one of us knew how to do that, but he was willing to pay me to figure it out. And I did. And we created this amazing revenue stream for him it's still 10 years later, going strong. In fact, after this call, I'm going to set up another registration page for a webinar that he's going to do in a couple of weeks. So definitely sustainable. I did learn some more sort of high-tech things along the way because I'm interested in it. But really, when I started, I knew, Office. I knew Constant Contact, just enough to send a newsletter. I knew a tiny bit of HTML, and that was kind of it. And I just built my skills over time, getting paid for them, as it went along. And so now, if you can believe it, it's been 10 years. It's been 10 years, and it'll be 11 years this summer, which is amazing to me. It's gone by so quickly. I've worked with over 200 clients. I think it's close to 225, 230 clients, which has been really wonderful. The majority of them really nice people, respectful, just willing to pay me for my time to work with them. And I've made over $1 million and been able to get myself out of that situation financially that I was talking about before, because that is like, that is really a weight, a heavy weight. And the thing that was the hardest about it was that, I was almost 50 years old and I thought at the time, this is going to be how my life goes. This is going to be the way it goes because it's too late for me to really make a big change. And, but I did. And so I'm just here to say that you can do that as well. So, all right. So today, I love this picture. It's us last summer. And one of my friends, I lived in Boston with Emily and Greg, who I'm now engaged to happily, lived in Connecticut. And we started seeing each other. And for the first few years, we were going back and forth. And then Emily and I moved here when she was starting high school. And the thing one of my friends said to me, which I loved, after I was here for a little bit, she said, if I would have told you that you were going to have a thriving business, that you were going to figure out your money, that Emily was going to be doing really well, loving college, the perfect school for her, and that you were going to be living with this amazing man and then later getting married to him, you know, I would have told her she was crazy, you know, but she said, what would you have said? You're crazy, because I did not see that path at all. But it's been really good. And at the core of it really has been my work and my flexibility. It allowed me to have sort of this long distance relationship and then move and have flexibility to be home for Emily and to be the mom I always wanted to be. So if you're thinking about it, it's an awesome way to make a living. All right, EJ's asking a question. Great. And so put your questions in, because guys, I don't have an agenda. I'm here to answer questions for you. How do we connect the VA connection calendar so that it shows up on our personal calendars? Okay, so if you're in the VIP club, which is a membership community that people pay for every month, what you can do is log into Kajabi, and you'll see, and then go into the, I think it's course library, and then click on the VIP club. When you get there, you'll see over on the left, it says membership deets. Hover over that, go down to calendar, and you'll see the calendar there. There's a link, I think it's at the, you know, I'm not exactly sure, but the page is very uncomplicated. I think it's at the top, and it says subscribe to this calendar, and you click that, and then you choose the kind of calendar that you have, and then it'll give you specific instructions how to download it into your calendar. And that's updated on a weekly basis. And I believe the links are in there too for all of the different events. So it's very convenient if you're in the VIP club, because we have tons of events. We have events every single week, and that way you can do that. So I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Thanks for that question. All right, so what else are you guys thinking about? What's on your mind? Tell me how many of you are already VAs, or how many of you are thinking about it. Camilla, hi Camilla. Do you have any tips on tools to do videos for our website and for clients? I do. All right, let me think about that for a minute. So the way that I do videos, first I'll talk about how I do videos. I don't do them for clients, but I do upload them. So there's several ways to make videos. You can, so right now I'm broadcasting on StreamYard. StreamYard is a browser-based video streaming software. I made a video for myself for a page recently, what I'm going to tell you guys about sometime today, during this call, I mean. And what I did was I came on camera. I looked exactly like this. I had a slide next to me with what the event was that I was talking about, and I recorded the video. I had to do a couple of takes because, so what I did was, instead of starting the video over, I just, when it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, I stopped, and then I started again, and I had to do it a few times before I got it the way I wanted it to. Then what I did was I downloaded it from StreamYard, and you can do that with Loom. You can do that with Zoom. You can go in by yourself on a Zoom, call and record it. There's lots of different ways. You can use Screencast-O-Matic. You can record it right in Camtasia, which is the video editing software that I use. And what did I do yesterday? Oh, I downloaded a video for a client. It was a webinar, and uploaded it to Vimeo. And when I uploaded it to Vimeo, I was able to edit it there. I needed to edit the back off. It was me, looking at the camera like, oh, I need to, fix this and this and this. So I took that off. When you get into Camtasia, so if you downloaded, so what I did was I downloaded it from StreamYard. I uploaded it into Camtasia, which is not an inexpensive program, but it's really worth it. I don't remember the exact cost, but it's over $200. But what happens is you don't have to pay monthly or yearly. You can update it when you're ready. It's sort of like QuickBooks. At some point they say we're not supporting this anymore. Camtasia probably does the same thing, and then you just upgrade to the next year. I think it's $60, but you don't have to do that every year. Anyway, so I downloaded to Camtasia, and then I edit it. I edited out the parts I didn't want. And it's really cool because you drag the video down into this tray, and you can see the talking, and you can enlarge it. So you can get in, you can take out, the tiniest little pieces of audio. It's trickier when the person's face is there because, it needs to line up. But so that's where I do the editing for my videos. For uploading them, it's pretty straightforward. You can either upload them right into WordPress, or you can host them on a site like Vimeo, or what's the other one? There's another Wistia. You can upload them there and then make them available to the public. And so by just taking the link from the video and putting it on the website in a special kind of box in WordPress, it's I think it's a video box, and it says insert the URL from the video, and then it displays it really nicely. And it's not on the server with the website. If you do lots of videos, that's not a good idea to put them on the actual server. So that's how I do that. Most of the videos that I work with for clients are webinar videos. They don't do a lot of, talking to the camera alone, for promotion or anything like that. So I hope that answers your question. I'm trying to think if I have any other tools. If you want to add closed captioning, the tool that I use is called Veed.io. It's not veed.io.com, it's just Veed.io. And I did that last night. What I did was I had an hour-long webinar. I uploaded it. First I edited it in Camtasia. Then I uploaded it to Veed. And then I asked the software to create the subtitles, which takes a couple of minutes, and then painstakingly, and it, for an hour video, I probably spent 3 hours. It's very tedious work, going through and listening to what someone's saying, and then changing the words. But the software makes it easy because it probably, I'm kind of, for this client, it's a really high-end product, and I needed to be very careful with it. So what happens is each frame shows up, and then the words are on the side, and you can see them, how they'll be closed captioned on the frame, and then you can edit them over on the side. And I would say, I'm trying to put a percentage to it of how much I had to fix. I probably had to fix 30% of the words, which is kind of a lot. But I said I'd do it, and I did it. And so now it's going to be distributed today to a lot of people, and hopefully produce a good result for the client. So let me know if you have a follow-up question on that. EJ is already, yeah, you've been a VA for a while. And Erin, I'm a VA with one client and adding another soon for web page development. That's terrific. That's great. Thanks for coming. All right, what else is on your guys' mind? What are you thinking about? Let's see. I think I have. Yeah. Firefly.ai. So is that, I wonder what that is. Is that software for, I'm going to look it up. Firefly.ai. It's, oops, that's not it. It's redirecting me to what if I. Interesting. So, Erin, what are you thinking about for Firefly? Let me know. And Camilla, I do have thoughts on it, on having a niche or a niche. I definitely have thoughts. So let's see what. Okay, great. A niche. A niche is. I'm not a fan of a niche in the beginning. And the reason why is, a lot of people, when you're just starting out, I thought, because I have a corporate background, I thought I needed a business plan and a budget and a lot of sort of corporate-y things. And I I had a business prior to this. I had an online baby store, and I went the route of, writing the business plan, and it turned out to be complete fiction. How do I know who my ideal client is? I would never have guessed that my ideal client for selling high-end personalized baby gifts was going to be New York, Dallas, and San Francisco. Like, how do you know that? I had no idea. And so while I think, especially if you're doing a business that has inventory, and it's expensive, you need to think about it. But with our business being VAs, what I did was I took on, I just would say to people, I'm doing administrative work. I thought I wanted to be working with startups. So I said, I'm solving operational problems for startups. And the first thing I learned was that no one really knew what that meant. And I didn't know anybody who had a startup except my one neighbor, who ended up, hiring me. But with the exception of him, because he went on to be very, very successful. But most startups, a lot of them, unless they're serial entrepreneurs, they don't have any money. And I kept coming up to this place where someone's brother was paying for my time because he wanted his sister to have a business, or the cousin was designing the logo, and so we couldn't get any traction because the cousin was 19 and at college and for graphic design and was never focusing on designing the logo. So my point is that I picked it because I thought it would be cool, and then it turned out to not be a fit. So I just sort of broadened it. And what I would say now is that I work with solo professionals, so people who work on their own, who are service-based. And I just added that this week because I realized the people that are not service-based, like people who install floors or own dry cleaning companies or other things like that, toy stores, are not a good fit for me because they're hardly ever at their desk. Other people could love that. I have, one of my people in my accelerator, she works, with the toy store. She loves them. She has a blast with them, but that's not been my experience. So the reason you don't want to niche down is because it's hard to find people in a specific industry, unless you had 10 years working for, bridalmagazine.com, and a million wedding planners, and you want to support them, and you have all this experience, and you've read every issue, and and you have a list of wedding planners, then I say go for it. Or if there's something very specific, like you want to be a bookkeeper and you're clear about that, or you want to do social media and that's all you want to do. So the niche can be who you're working with or the kind of work that you're doing. But I think it sort of, it becomes evident what your niche will be over time. So unless you have one in mind that you know that you can support enough to make enough money, I wouldn't recommend niching down. All right, so let's see. It took me a few years to figure out about people not working at their desk, and someone Michael Katz was he was a guest in the VIP club. I think it was Monday, and he talked about. I'd heard him say it before, but it sort of hit me over the head in a little bit different way this time. That he just works with he works with solos who are service providers, and that is really my sweet spot. Financial planners, coaches, and the other thing is I like that I have lots of different industries because each industry has its own personality. My coaches tend to be kind of scattered. My financial planners plan. They're very relaxed. Different industries behave in different ways. And I think if I had all of one kind, I don't think I would enjoy it as much. I like the variety. Okay, so this comment is, I'm still trying to figure things out. I have done VA services, but never been paid for it, just practice. So I am here to tell you that you don't need any practice. I did that in the beginning too. I had a friend who needed a website, and my rates weren't high coming out of the gate for the first couple clients, but you really don't need to practice. There are things that most of the work, and I think people don't know this, most of the work that I do, my clients tell me how to do it. So I'm working on, they're called user guides for a client today. And, I take the picture from here, I take the graph from there, I put it into this document that they already had created. They explained to me how to do it. There's no way I would know how to do it. They might say something like create something from nothing, but then they explain what they're looking for. So you really don't have to practice too much. I do things that I don't know how to do every day, and then I know how to do them. So, so know that you might not feel ready, but it might just be time to jump in and start charging. Okay. Oh, Camilla says, we're talking now about Firefly.ai. And Erin says she must have the wrong link. It does transcribing of videos. Yeah, that's awesome. And Veed is very affordable. I don't remember how much it is, but when I don't remember, it's usually less than $20 a month. All right, Sandy. Hi, Sandy. Would you recommend Camtasia to a client who wants to repurpose her videos? Basically, she wants to take her for Facebook Lives and repurpose them. Yes. Wait, no. No. So let's talk about what she wants to do. If she wants to take her, she probably doesn't need that. So what happens for me is the Rocket Girl shows that become, on Instagram, those audiograms, it's my picture and then the squiggly lines, and then you can see the text. And then when you click, I'm talking. If she wants to repurpose them like that, that is done in Veed.io. Camtasia is more editing, like you want to take a video and you want music and before it, or you want a slide to show while you're talking, or you, like, for example, when I was teaching recording the newsletter course and the debit card course, it's not perfect when I do it, and I'll realize I'm not using the words that I want, so I'll have to stop, say the sentence again, or I'll trip. And so it's for editing like that, so taking pieces out. But probably something like Veed.io can make those Instagram, those audiograms. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. Let me show you. Let's just go over to our Instagram for a second. And also the, here, I'll drag it over on the screen. Okay, so this, whoops, hold on. That is confidential for a client. All right, so this is done in Veed.io. And if you look at the IGTVs, this is done in Veed.io. So these are the Rocket Girl shows. And so you can add, this cover, and then here is the Rocket Girl show right here. It's just the video that's taken right. So those are done on StreamYard, and then they're downloaded, and then they're uploaded to Veed.io. It adds the subtitles. And what's cool is you can put the subtitles anywhere in the image. I think how this works, I know how this works. This cover image is made in Canva. The video is uploaded to Canva because it has this automation. So it has this image, and then it's going to change in a second to the Rocket Girl show image of the video, like this. And once it's here, the video and the image that's created in Camtasia, then it's downloaded, it's uploaded to, it's complicated, right? To Veed.io, and that's when the subtitles are created, and then it's uploaded to Instagram TV. So that's another way to have to repurpose your videos. So let me know if that answers your question. And I'm going to put this back up. Okay. All right, Erin, did you or do you recommend having strong contracts? That is a really good question. So I do not use contracts, and I don't use them for the reason that if you're going to have a contract and someone breaches the contract, you're going to have to sue them to get the money. And, I was very naive in my 20s, and I didn't understand that. And I had a contract that was pretty serious and with a lot of money for something in my life. And what I didn't realize was just because you have a contract, you have to go to court You have to get a lawyer. You know, it's not just like, you signed this and then the judge says, pay her. It doesn't work like that. And I had no idea. So I don't have them. When people buy my time, they prepay my time in 5 or 10 hour chunks. It's called the Rocket Girl debit card. So I get paid up front. So I don't have any exposure in terms of not getting paid. I do have a letter that goes out that my clients are not asked to sign, but it goes through how much time they have. It talks about how they'll know how much time they have, how to contact me, and all of that. As some of you know, we're going to have a big event in June. It's going to start with a challenge, a 5-day challenge. Excuse me. A 5-day challenge for getting great clients. So stand by. That's going to be on June 14th. And then it's going to follow with, you know, this wonderful course that I'm working on right now. And as part of the thinking about that course, I'm thinking about contracts and how I know some of you want contracts. And so what I'm working with my attorney right now is a letter. It's more like a letter of agreement, so that it's like terms and conditions. So that is going to be coming this summer, and it's going to be available to you if you participate in these things that are coming up. So I think a letter of understanding is good, but just know that you can have an ironclad, solid, you know, super cool contract. And if the person walks away from it, unless you want to pursue them, there's really not much that you can do. So that's one of the reasons I'm very careful about who I let hire me too. So that's a long answer, but that's the answer. So stand by for that letter of understanding. In fact, I'm talking to the attorney today, I think at 2:00, and that's on the topic. That's the topic, one of the topics. Okay. Any suggestions on how to overcome fear, like of looking stupid, I'm going to sneeze, or asking inappropriate questions in the wrong space? How do you step out of your comfort zone in order to grow your business? Maybe I'm not going to sneeze. So EJ, that's a really good question. I'll tell you, in the beginning, I had a coach when I started the VA Connection. I've kind of always had business coaches, or like a personal / business coach, because I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, and I have a similar fear to you. You know, it's funny because I'm sitting here pretty completely comfortably, not totally, but pretty as comfortable as I can get on live video when I don't know what's going to happen next. But if you go back to the Facebook group and you look at the videos that are 1.5 years old, I am in a dark room. I have no light. I am scared to death. I don't know what to say. I'm talking really fast, and I was too afraid to do live video, so I would record it 20 times for a 2-minute video and then upload it. So I get the question. And how I've overcome everything is by practice. Now, one of the things, and it took me to be as old as I am to kind of get this, is that everybody has the same fear. And if you just are authentic and ask questions, even, you know, I say silly things. I definitely do. But I just kind of laugh, and I don't go into this, you know, the whirlwind that I used to of thinking about it 20 million times. I just think, okay, I shouldn't have said that. All right, let's just move on. And, you know, try to come back from it. So this is kind of a long answer. There's not an easy answer. I would say you just kind of have to do it. And I would talk it through with my coach. So let's say I had to, well, okay, here today. All right. So my client, Sarah, I love her. She sent me an edit to her newsletter. I have no idea what she wants me to do. Like, I'm looking at it. I've worked with her for 5 years, and I know what she's doing. She's trying to do this really fast, probably from her car while someone's driving her. And she's sort of like flinging the information. I don't want to go back and say, I have no idea, but I did. I went back and I said, I looked at your instructions and they're just not clear to me. Can you say a little bit more about what you want me to do, or maybe include it in the context? So even though I didn't want to do that, that's how I handled it. So just thinking things through, also not being afraid of telling people you need to think about it. There was someone who was asking me for a refund, I don't know, earlier in the year, and I don't give refunds, but she was really clear that she wanted one, and it had nothing to do with my services. It had to do with how she, the person that made the decision. So I said, I want to think about it. And she was really taken aback by that. And but I didn't want to talk about it right in that moment. I said, I have to think about that. Generally, I don't ever give don't give refunds. So give me till Friday. So I guess that's really it, EJ, is just, like one little baby step at a time. I bought the video equipment for the VA connection and I left it on the floor in the basement for, I don't know, a month and a half. And then I set it up, and then I was uncomfortable, and then I got the lights right, and then I tried it, and, just a little bit at a time. And the part where it's virtual kind of helps because I didn't used to be on video ever, which is a lot easier. But with the pandemic, everybody's on video all the time, unfortunately. But being virtual, you have some time to think before you answer questions sometimes. I think you're going to be fine. You just have to do it. All right, EJ, what is V. It's V.io. So I'll show you what it is. I'm just logging in, and then I'll drag it over to the screen so you guys can see it. Okay, so here it is. And here is, so here's a webinar right here. This is it's an hour-long webinar, and I just worked on it this morning. Let's see what's going on with it. So just trying to see. I don't know why I can't. Oh, here, edit. Sorry, I don't do this a ton. All right, so what I did was I uploaded this. I wanted to add subtitles, so I uploaded it. Here it is down here in this tray. Oh, let me make this bigger. Okay, here it is in the tray, and then I clicked on subtitles, and it added the subtitles, and these are all the subtitles right here, and this is where you can edit it right here, and it will take you to the slide. And so what I do is I play it. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but you can see the subtitles are here. So I'm listening to Alexandra speak. I'm looking at the words here, and I'm editing over here. And this takes forever. And then I downloaded it, and then I uploaded it to Vimeo, where we're going to host it. So that's what Veed.io does. And you can see, let's see if I go back here. This is where the editing gets done for the audiograms. Is that true? No, that's Headliner. I'm sorry. The Headliner is where the audiograms get made. This is where the Instagram TV Rocket Girl shows get made. And let me show you Headliner app. So this is where, let's see. This is where these get made. Here. And I'm going to do a, so there's all different types of formats where these get loaded up. So some are square, some are rectangle. This is for Instagram. And I'm going to do a weekly webinar on how to do this coming up. All right, thanks for the questions. Erin, do you have business insurance? I do not. However, I am not a trained professional on this. Just checking the bird for a second here. I'm not in a position to really talk about that. You need to find out. Some places you have to have it. In your state, you can call your insurance company, the regular car insurance company that you have, or homeowners, insurance company and talk to them about it. There's lots of different insurances you can get, errors and omissions. I'm just looking at the other questions. Errors and omissions, you can get disability insurance, you can get all different kinds of insurance. I don't do anything that, I'm not involved with my clients' money. I have a very clear way of getting their approval for things. So before I send a newsletter out or anything like that, I always say, with your approval, I'll schedule this. And they say approved. And then, I have that in an email. I've never even had to go back to that, but I'm just very clear about, where the responsibilities lie, So Camilla says, I'm glad you guys are here today. I mostly have a contract to make the client feel safe, trusting me with their information, not so much about getting paid. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, I think that's important, to acknowledge to them. And sometimes clients have asked me to sign a non-disclosure, and I do, not, I guess I haven't had to sign a non-compete, but, I have clients that they're bringing me into their client, and their client, big giant companies want me to sign an NDA. And for the most part, I can read those and understand them and sign it comfortably, because it just says I'm not, not going to disclose anything, and I never do anyway. So it's not any kind of new behavior, but that's great. Do you recommend a business coach, and at what biz size? If yes, I do. I have always found coaches that have what I want. So the coach that I'm working with now, she has the type of business that I want, and she has the experience creating it. So I've always looked for people that have what I want. That's been the criteria, whether it's a business or a lifestyle. And I have had coaches as I was starting my business, because every time I've started a business, I just don't like wasting time. I can try to figure something out for 3 months, or I can hire someone and move it forward and start making money faster. And so that's always what I've done. And I still do that, when there's projects that, for example, I wanted to be on Instagram. I thought it was really important to building our community. And I know a lot of people are on Instagram, but I didn't know how to do it. And I was trying to get my daughter to help me, which was a complete disaster. So I went to a talk, and I heard someone speak about Instagram. It was crazy, because I am not usually free at noon, like on Tuesday, and I was free, and we're getting started in 5 minutes was there. And I knew the woman that was doing the Instagram talk, and I thought, okay, I'm in. So I by the time we got to the middle of the talk, I'm direct messaging her, when can we talk? I need to find out, how you operate. So, and I hired her, and now I'm doing it. We're doing it our own, and I love how it looks and how it's going, and it's because I fast forwarded and was able to really nail it. I did that when I had a job too. I started managing people who were, this is a long time ago, who were doing PowerPoint presentations, and I needed to understand how PowerPoint worked, because I get really in the weeds with things that I'm doing. And I wanted to understand how I could streamline the process, and how I could make sure, because we had like filing cabinets of decks that were being used for this management consulting firm. And so I said to my boss, I want to hire a PowerPoint expert to come sit with me for 2 hours. I read a book, I understand it, I have specific questions. There was no internet, where you could look stuff up back then. And he said, sure. So I hired someone for a couple hours, couple $100, got my questions answered. And then I felt more confident in, in the work I was doing. It's worth the paid version then. Angela, can you tell me, I'm sorry, I didn't see what I was talking about when that came in. I think if it's v.io, yes. I'm not a fan of branding, having branding, someone else's branding on my stuff. I'm like that with Rocket Girl and with the VA connection, and every business I work on with my clients. It depends on how invasive the branding is. Like Jot Forms is very invasive. It's this big giant orange bar with their logo, and it says something like, are you ready to, get your own Jot account? That's just too distracting for me. So I pay for Jot Forms specifically for that reason. Other things, not so much. Like Acuity, I don't think you can get rid of the branding, but the branding is, Acuity is a scheduling software. The branding is not obnoxious to me. It's gray, it's small, it's not taking over the whole, of your attention. So I don't mind that. And EJ says, do you coach? I do. I totally do. And I have a coaching program that's starting up in May. Let me grab the page. Let's see. I was just looking at that. It's going to start in May. Let me just drag it over right here. And let me get back to StreamYard. So here is my group coaching program. So how this works, it's called the Accelerator. You guys may have heard of it. I don't do one-on-one coaching. I find that this is much more effective, much more effective, because I've been approached to do that. And so let me explain why and how it works. So this is a 12-week program. Let me see when it's going to start up again. I'm just going to look at my calendar. I don't remember what week we're on. It's going to start up again probably the week of May 5th or May 12th. I'm not certain yet. But it's a 90-day program, and how it works is it's limited to 8 people, and each time we do the accelerator, this is going to be the 6th time, I have a one-on-one strategy session with each member of the group. And we go really deep. What are the goals that they have? What do they want to accomplish? Where do they want to be in 12 weeks? And we come up with a plan. There is an intake document that is sent first where I ask all kinds of questions like, what do you want to get out of this program? What are the things that are in your way? What resources do you have? Really, I don't know how many pages it is, but it's very detailed so that I'm coming into that call with a very clear understanding of where the person wants to go. And sometimes I even am able to bring a plan for them of the steps that I think would be, that would work. So we have this strategy session to start. And then what happens is, here, I'm going to make myself a little smaller and then I can read this on the screen. It's for people who have been in business for a while. You don't have to have a ton of clients or years of experience, but you're definitely in the trenches. It's not for someone who's just starting out and hasn't really hit the road bumps yet. Because what this is all about is ironing out those bumps. So what happens is, let me just scroll down. I want to make sure. Here, let me put, I don't think I can put this in the chat. Let's see. I'm using StreamYard and I don't think it allows that, but I'm going to try. Oh, I can. All right, so I just put it in the chat so you can see that. Oh, it just went to Periscope. So you can see, if you go to the vaconnection.com and then look at, it says programs, it's right there. You can see it. So here's what's included. So one-on-one strategy sessions with me. So you get 4 of those, 4 one-hour calls. And they're once a month. So there's one in the beginning. Then we meet for 3 weeks. And it's the whole group together. We just had this yesterday. And what happens is you bring your questions, you fill out another document that says, what did you accomplish? What do you need help with? What are you doing next? So it's all about accountability and being accountable throughout for what you are aiming for. And then, so after we would have 3 of those, then we'd meet again. Anything that I have is available to you. So that includes my, I have a revenue tracking spreadsheet. Anything that I use in my business. I've even given accelerators who've asked PowerPoint decks. They want to go give a talk on a topic I've given before. I'm like, here you go. So basically anything that I have, I will share. In addition to that, if you don't already, I was going to talk about this. If you don't already have it, you get access to the debit card course and the email newsletter system, and that's forever. It's not just for the 12 weeks. You just have access unlimited access. In addition, there's something called Voxer support. So Voxer, I don't know if you guys know, but it's an app. And what you do is you hold the phone. You can do it on desktop too, and you press a button and you just start talking. And you can say, "Hey, Belinda, I'm in the middle of this, this, I don't know, project on WordPress, and I have no idea how to add something to the navigation. Can you help me?" And I say, "You bet." And I click and I talk, or I'll make a quick Loom video and shoot it over to you. So you have access to me pretty much all the time. I say definitely during the workday, but sometimes people get stuck at night. And if I'm just sitting on the couch, I'm happy to answer. We also have a half-day accelerator retreat. We're having that this Saturday, and we're going to spend some time together. We're going to do some skill building. We have a special guest expert coming, Lisa Corrado. She's a coach, and we're going to talk about limiting beliefs and how they get in your way. Sort of what EJ was just talking about. It's really limiting beliefs, and then everybody gets a surprise gift box. And this accelerator, they got a Rocket notebook. I don't know if you guys know about Rocket notebooks, but they're super cool. It's like you can write in them and upload it to the cloud. Everyone got a Rocket notebook. They got some fun stickers and something else I'm blanking on. Oh, they got a book. They got one of my favorite books. So anyway, so this answers the question. I didn't know we were going to talk about this today, but like I said, it's limited to 8 people, and you can learn more about it here. But it is a great way to move the needle, to get where you want to be in your business, with my help and the help of the other accelerators. And sometimes people, they take the program more than once. I have had people in the accelerator program for a year where they keep re-upping and going to the next step in their business. So it's very exciting. It's very exciting. And it always sells out. So if you are interested, go over to that URL and click the wait list, and I'll be notifying people pretty soon about when the next one's going to start. Thanks for asking that. You're welcome, Camilla. You're welcome. So we have a couple more minutes. We have a bunch of people here. Does anyone else have another question? I am happy to jump in. I know there's a delay, so I'll wait a minute. You guys had some great questions, keeping me on my toes, for sure. Keeping me on my toes. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for coming. This was really fun, and I will see you all in the Facebook group, okay? Have a great rest of your day.